Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching, and welcome to our episode number 16 of our weekly series, What's Your Spark? Today I'm joined by Jen Vallina, who is the owner of One Sock On Photography. I love this name, and who's calling in from Maryland. Welcome, Jen. Wow, it's
Thank
been
you.
too long.
I know, since we've seen each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, welcome. And
Thank you.
yeah, so you'll have more time to talk in just a little bit because I'm so curious
Okay.
about what you have to share with us today. But before I turn it
Okay.
over to you, so you can share your spark with us, Jen, I do want to remind our lovely audience to hit the like button or the love button if you prefer, and to share your comments and your questions in the comments section. And you could do that whether you're joining us live right now or whether you are watching the recording. Doesn't matter. We are definitely going to go back and look at your comments and questions. And yeah, so we're conducting this interview for you. So make it yours, right? It's yours, dear audience. And those of you who have seen previous episodes, you know that we are here to inspire and encourage. So, this is another episode for all of you who like to be inspired by other women, women who are contributing their insights and their creativity, their wisdom, their expertise, their stories, their brilliance, their knowledge, in a word, their spark, because fresh inspiration helps us explore new possibilities for ourselves, or maybe just continue walking on our current path with fresh positive energy. Through these interviews with these women around the world, we can grow from and with each other. So we can all fully live our own spark. And then through this, have more passionate and more purpose driven and more fulfilling lives, and also make a bigger impact at the same time. So let us all remember that each of us has a special spark, and we are meant to sparkle it out to the world, shine with our brilliance as entrepreneurs, as employees, as speakers, as family heads, in whatever capacity, right? And today it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Jen Vallina. Jen is the
Hi.
owner of One Sock On Photography, as I said before. So absolutely check out her profile later. She has so much more on there. But for now, listen to us and stay with us. So Jen and I met in 2001 when we were both at the Boston Consulting Group in San Francisco. And later, about 3.5 years later, I left BCG in 2005 to open a bed and breakfast in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I remember we stayed in touch on social media for a good while, right, Jen?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So we checked in on each other, which is really nice.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And yeah. And you just recently reconnected here on LinkedIn too. So, Jen, are you ready?
I am. I am.
Cool. Ready, steady, go. Right. So,
Okay.
here's my first question.
All right.
What's your spark?
I think for me, it's giving people nuggets of happiness, but I do that through my photography. So I either in an art format or in portraits, especially because of this last year and a half, I think people really needed that extra bit of happy. And so it was always my goal, even before the pandemic, to provide just make it photography fun for people. And since I really like people, it was a kind of a fun way to hear their stories, but also literally capture their memories for them.
Yeah, and you already expressed that through the name of your company. You know,
Yes, yes, it was,
tell
yes, a
us a little
funny
bit about
name.
that. What was
Okay,
the thought
yeah.
behind it?
Actually, it's my daughter.
Okay.
When she was a baby, and I had moved out here with the same company that we both worked at.
Yeah.
and I just had a baby, and I wasn't used to the winter weather here, and I felt like no matter what I would do, we'd get to where we were going, and then I'd look back and she'd only have one sock on. And so then and then I realized it doesn't matter. Like I would just put my hand over her little foot and we'd go to wherever we were going. And basically, it's kind of like a philosophy too now for me, because if you think about it, like everything will be okay, even if you only have one sock on. And so when I had been asked to potentially start my business, a neighbor had asked, can you take, they've seen pictures of Sylvia, my daughter.
Mhm.
And I said, oh, sure, I'll take the picture, but I hadn't, ever considered starting my own business. So it was a kind of
Mhm.
a spontaneous, organic thing. And I basically ran to my car and thought of a name that moment. And I wanted something that would people could remember, because I feel like sometimes if you just use your name, it's harder for
Mhm.
folks to remember. But something about this name, I noticed everyone asked me that question. It's like, where does that come from? And so basically, they're very spontaneous, and I decided to go for it. And yeah, 16 years later, I
That's
now have my own
awesome.
business. Yeah, yeah.
So see, I just had this epiphany. It's so the abbreviation of it could be like OSO, which is the
Uh-huh.
opposite of SOS. So it's the
Oh,
opposite of emergency.
uh, oh my gosh, that's kind of awesome. I'm gonna have to
I
add that
just
as another a little tagline again. We're the opposite. We come save you,
Yeah,
literally.
and when I yeah, and when I heard it first, I was thinking, okay, that's perfect because it's perfect, see, because we don't have to be perfect for the photo.
Right,
And we
right.
don't have that's why it's perfect, right? So
Yep. Well,
you
that's
don't
why.
have
Yep.
to look perfect on a photo. It just we want to be us. It has to really our
Exactly.
spark wants to come out, right?
Right.
In
Yeah.
the
Exactly. Our
photo.
spark. Yep. And our essence. I
That's
always
what we
try to
want to
say.
see, the
Yep.
spark, not
Right.
the oh, this,
No.
the two socks have to be in place, right?
Nope. Nope. And they don't have to match. And that's what I always tell. 'Cause I work with a lot
Exactly.
of young children, and so
Uh-huh.
I always say,
Yeah.
you just guys just be you and have a good time with this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
even
love
CEOs.
unmatching socks, by the way. I
Yeah.
have some.
Yeah. Us
I
too in
think
our
it's
family.
awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, then you already told us a little bit how you found that spark, but tell us a little bit more about that and why also that passion, because you could have been asked to take those photos, but then there you might have done it, you could have done it
Oh,
without
right.
this passion, but then you did develop this passion for it, right?
Yes. Well, it was interesting because I've always taken photos. It's like
Hmm.
since I was
I
10.
remember
So
that
that's,
actually.
yeah. So it's probably like 40 years now, which is interesting to say out loud.
Uh-huh.
But I basically always just loved it. I found peace in taking those photos. Like I even noticed when we lived in San Francisco, and this is, obviously pre-iPhone days or cell
Yeah.
phone, that I'd be even riding the bus and looking and I could see patterns. And I kind of wanted to show everyone how I saw the world too.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those moments where I thought, I can do this. I was at that point, it was staying home with my daughter and I had time and I just wanted to kind of get more people literally exposed. It sounds so corny to use that word, but exposed to things how I see it. Because I have a
Hmm.
tendency to see things a little differently. I get
Hmm.
down, I'll see patterns, I see like you. And I thought, why not try? Right. I think a lot of it, that was just it. It's like, why not? Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, and I can see that. So I actually also like photography. I'm not the expert for sure, but I just like to see the world. And I had this one sequence of photos that I published online at some point, and it was called "The World Through My Eyes." So I
Oh,
can
that's
see
cool.
what you're saying. I totally get it. Yeah, and it's such a beautiful experience when you experience, you know you experience and you perceive the world around you more consciously,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a big thing. I think it's really important because I think we have a tendency to go too fast in our current
yeah,
lives. And I really like that moment where I help people to say, hey, let's like get down on the ground and look at these cool patterns or look up at the sky, just breathe for a minute.
uh-huh,
So that's why I have the two sides of my business also, where it's not just always the people,
Hmm.
though, who I love, but it's also the objects that are
Hmm.
often overlooked.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
those, yeah,
Really
yeah.
nice. Really nice.
Thank,
And talking
thank
about
you.
perfection. So, some of my audience know that I'm moving around here all the time. Like I just, packed everything into storage again, and I'm on a nomadic trip again. It started on Sunday. So my lighting sometimes isn't that perfect, maybe, even with all the technology we have these days, but we're moving around in the world, and, we make it happen. We make it work. But it's just like it is what it is, and we're here. And
Yes,
yeah, and I think what really matters is to share our spark here. So how are you making an impact through your spark? Tell us more about that. You said it's about happiness, but
yes.
what else can you tell us about this?
Well, it's been really I guess a common theme, even when I was working in the corporate environment, is I always like to give back. I had started a not-for-profit project um,
Mhm.
many, many, many years ago, just on the side, just for fun. And I wanted to continue that sort of, how do I give back to the world, even on the not-for-profit side? So
Mhm.
this year, I've worked a lot with this one organization called the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation, and they work with people actually such as myself who have
Mhm.
a rare condition in our brain, which is like, so I have an AVM.
Mhm.
So what
Mhm.
I have been doing, even though I discovered I had this, instead of getting bogged down in the negativity of it, I was like, well, I have it, let's deal with it, and how can I give back to this organization that really helped me through it all? So I've been
Mhm.
donating my art. So I give
Mhm.
them, you know, just depending on what if they have a magazine, I'll donate my
Mhm.
art in kind to them. So that way other people can, as I said, experience my art, because not everyone can afford to buy, big pieces. And I like
Mhm.
to do it that way. I've also donated to a organization actually in San Diego where I'm from. It's the UCSD Cancer Center, and they have a
Mhm.
big, it's called like luau. It's like a luau with like surfers, and it's an invitational. And so I donate sort of beachy themed art to them for their organization. And that way, again, I feel like I'm giving back, and again, it's making people just feel good. I think that's like a really big thing with me is I want other people just to have that happy moment. And even when I have my private clients, it's the same thing. Even from a CEO down to like a little toddler who's 2, I want you to feel like this is a good experience getting your picture taken. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
scary. It doesn't have to be scary. Like we're all just regular people when it really comes
Mhm.
down to it. And so that is my biggest thing, is just to make people understand that it can be fun and it doesn't have
Right.
to be scary.
Right. And you can see it also in the LinkedIn photos, the profile photos when people actually are having fun and dare to be authentic on their photos.
Yeah.
Those are the photos that connect.
Oh
Yes.
yes, and it's been an interesting thing because I looking at LinkedIn, it's been really fun to see how many of those profile pictures I've taken and seeing the difference, because that's a big thing for a lot of people, as I said, especially in these last, couple years, is there's been some jobs changing
Mhm.
or people have relationships changing, and I always want to say, let's get you a fresh picture that actually is the essence of you. And
Mhm.
it's really, really, really rewarding to see it as I go down the screen, saying, oh, I took that. And they're so happy. And
Yeah.
it's just really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It makes a huge difference. It does.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jen, so this is all quite impressive, and it's so interesting, and my heart just is singing right now because it's so beautiful to reconnect with former colleagues, co-workers,
Yes.
and really
Yeah.
to see what else they are doing in their lives and
Yes.
how they're making a
Yes.
difference.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
know it's been awesome to see you. I know. I know I missed
yeah.
you. I
Yeah,
know.
and we are too far apart for you to take my
I
pictures.
know. I know. One day I'll come
One
find you.
day.
One day.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've only been to Maryland like in for business a few times, very
Yes.
shortly. So I don't really, although it wasn't too far from New York, but you know, It's just always, as you said before, life is busy. And so we
Right.
go,
Well,
we travel where work takes us, or where right
exactly.
now it's just like a little bit random for me. But yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, no, it's great. No, I've been actually now that I can travel again to people, which has been really
Mhm,
lovely. Like I just was
mhm,
able to, so I basically, and that's also been a thing where I say, I come to you. So
mhm.
I'm able to
Yeah,
now travel again to take
right.
photos of people. So you
Yeah,
don't have to schlep and you
yeah.
don't have to
Yeah, I've never
have that.
stopped traveling. I actually
Yeah.
started
Oh,
traveling,
that's,
like when those restrictions started to happen in New York, I said, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing
oh,
this.
okay.
I'm a freedom loving person. Everything I do is in the service
Right.
of freedom. I'm not with me, not with me. I'm out of here.
Right.
So I
You're-
traveled, I
oh, good.
traveled to Mexico a few weeks, and then I traveled, to other states. I was back in New York too, of course, because that's still my base,
Right.
for both my residential base and my business. But I'll just nomad around a little bit
Mm,
for now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you again for sharing your spark with us, Jen,
Oh,
and
thank you for
also
having
for
me.
introduce. Yeah, it's such a pleasure, and also for introducing me to Michael Sakai, who was a previous guest on
Oh,
the
yeah.
show too. Yeah,
You're
and
very
circle is,
welcome.
yeah, so the
Very
circle is
welcome. Yes.
closing. She also introduced some other people, and yeah, so it's just been lovely. It's all
That's
about
good.
connections. That's why we're on LinkedIn, to
Exactly.
link up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So before we close, here's how I choose to sparkle with my brilliance and make a difference through it. I'm a multicultural transformational leadership coach with experience, quite eclectic experience on 5 continents. With that experience, I help mid-tier women employees achieve their next career goal so they can not only fulfill their potential, but also increase their income, influence, and impact. And as an international inspirational speaker and training facilitator, I love to speak and inspire about how you, women, and some men that I've worked with too, can gain greater visibility in your organization by enhancing your business presence, by practicing by practicing a self-empowered mindset and heart set, and by bringing out your unique brilliance. I call this your distinctive uniqueness. So you can sparkle it out to the world, and as a result, increase your success and live a more fulfilled life. Now, every Wednesday, starting last week, and I hope you can join us, Jen, for the next one, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I have a 60-minute live show on winwinwomen.com. So again, that's winwinwomen.com. To watch, you just click on winwinwomen.com and follow the instructions to get to my show. So there's a green button that says watch shows now, and then from there you follow the instructions. You will find my show, and you can join it exactly at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's also called What's Your Spark? Because I think that is such an important question.
Yeah.
And you'll have a chance to contribute your ideas and ask questions, which will be answered live. So the second half of the show is a live interactive piece. Thank you again so much, Jen. Thanks
Thank
to all the
you.
uniquely brilliant people watching. And we trust that this show has inspired you to dig even deeper with your own spark and to fulfill your potential in this way. Please support our show by hitting the like button. We'd love to answer your questions and comments. And if you feel inspired, feel free to share the show on your LinkedIn newsfeed, and also to hop over to YouTube later on. My YouTube channel is Regina Huber, where you can catch all the previous episodes and really catch up on those, as well as other amazing video resources that are absolutely free. So see you next Tuesday when I'll be chatting here with Patricia Herrera from Mexico City, Mexico, from Mexico City. She was on with me before, but the streaming tool glitched for us. Oh well, and it didn't take us life. So we wanted her to have another opportunity to experience you life and the other way around. Yes. So for now, as always, make it a beautiful and fruitful day. Keep shining, and I will do the same. And I will remain, as always, powerfully in service. Thank you again, Jen.
Thank
Make
you,
it a
Regina.
wonderful day.
You
Bye now.